Hi friends. Welcome to the show. I hope you're all doing very well. My name is Rocky Outcrop, and this is a crypto technical analysis live stream. And I just like to say hello, Phil. Hello, Peter. Hello, Scott. Hello, others out there who are watching along. Dropping a like right now would be absolutely wonderful of y'all. Good little conversation that we had in the chit chat before we actually got started there. I wonder if that's showing up on the show. No, okay, cool. So this is a live stream, and of course there is chit chat going on there. Say hello in the chat if you'd like, and I'll say hello back to you. And what we're going to be talking about here in just a moment is a quick little run through of a couple of little interesting things to do with the some technical analysis tip, I suppose, and then we following up. Oh, there goes the chat going mad there now. Excellent. So we'll kind of go through what we're talking about in the chat there real quick, and then take a look at Bitcoin, hopefully having spoken about the kind of at the same time as we run through the chit chat. And then we'll take a look at requested altcoins. Hello, Peter. Good to see you. All right, Shiraz, nice to have you here. Shiraz Mohammed, lovely to see you. Davide Krena, nice. He wants to see Avax. It seems Mark Garrett caught you live. Thumbs up, matey. Good to see you. Excellent stuff. So yeah, all y'all hit the like button, help the channel out. Let's roll the intros. Ta-da! That was good, wasn't it? So this is the Bitcoin price action up behind me right now. I'm Rocky Outcrop, and welcome to the show. I wanted to talk about the 50% point between previous highs and lows, and how it is so often incorporated into indicators, and it also has a similarity to it almost with moving averages. If you think about the difference between the high and the low and going for that midpoint, that's kind of like an average between those two prices, or you could say that's precisely what it is. And this, of course, then moves as the chart goes forward. So you could describe the thing as being like a moving average as well, if you constantly draw out that point as you move forward in time. So how could you find that price point very quickly and easily? Well, there's a couple of ways of doing it, and you can see I've got a various sort of some examples kind of more or less on the screen just there of finding it real quick, but I'll just show you, of course, as well how you can find a price point as a 50% line between two areas, and that's quite simply as well using the Fibonacci tool. So that's handy. And then you've got the 50% line coming in there. I've got mine with a variety of colors on it. You can choose to color yours as you will. And indeed, if you're only looking to find out specific information, you can hide all the other numbers away there off of it and just only show the 50%, for example. Well, I'm showing more, but you get the point there. And that is one quick way of doing it. And that has also got various other information to go along with it, putting the price into a bit of context for you, and that's quite neat. There's another way of doing it. For instance, then just using indicators you can bring up on the screen. And one of them is the Donchain channels, for example, here. And this shows you the highest point and looking back over a particular look back period. In this case, I've set mine to 26. So looking back over the previous 26 bars, it finds the high point, finds the low point, draws in that 50% line along there. Interestingly enough as well, that is a component of the Ichimoku cloud. So if you're wondering why I'd used the number 26, then just popping on the Ichimoku cloud, that's pretty neat as well. As you can see here, this red line is where that previous Donchain channel one was showing the 50% area. Let me just draw that in again by popping the Donchain channels back on, so you can see that they do indeed line up with each other. And as you can see, bringing it on and off there, it lines lines up. That's quite handy to know as well. So it's a component within the Ichimoku cloud. It's a component within the Fibonacci retracement tool. It's a component within Donchian channels, and there are other examples, of course, out there as well. That's just to name a few. And it's not that amazing, really, to see that there are moving averages out there in the world that also line up near enough to where it is. Now, I could pop on all these moving averages to show you. I'll just show you the relationship instead of using moving averages, so to speak, by using the Bollinger Bands. And this white line is the baseline of the Bollinger Band, and that happens to be the 20 simple period moving average. And you can see that it's not a million miles away from where that Donchian channel baseline is. Now, of course, that's not always the case. When you're looking at charts, there will be areas where the moving averages and the price action have had such a relationship so that the 50% price point might not line up exactly, as we're seeing here, of course, as it goes along. But it's never that million miles far away overall. And that's an interesting dynamic as well. And that's a component, I suppose, in a trending market, which is an interesting dynamic to know as well, how the prices are doing in relation to the past, and that's what that is used for, essentially. And that's a pretty neat sort of thing. So I don't know if you didn't know that before and how to find that price point, then that's kind of neat. And it's also perhaps handy to know that it lines up with a couple of moving averages that you can look at now. You can, of course, experiment with all this on your own trading view. And thanks for joining me for this little section here. And if you hit the like button, that would be appreciated. Great. Excellent. So let me just dive back in and see how everybody's doing in the chit chat there. I hope you liked that little section at the start. That's kind of just to help out with some chit chat. Now, Phil brought up the topic, but I'm sure a lot of people out there will have found that interesting dynamic when you kind of relate a couple of different things to each other and see how all roads lead to Rome, if you like, if you will. So that's excellent, and I can see that I can just kind of summarize there with Phil here. He says, I tried the fib and the fib tool at the time, and it didn't work out to Peter's number. That's when Jamie tried to explain in regard to the lowest low, highest high, something like that, but I didn't get it. So there you go, and of course it depends on how your look back period would be set up on those indicators as to where you would be drawing in that 50% from, but I've demonstrated that a couple of times. You might enjoy checking out that Ichimoku Cloud video that I've got. May or may not be available on YouTube, actually, at the minute. I can't remember if I've made it private. Right, if it's not on Patreon, then I'll stick it on there. Right, cool. So, excellent. So, let me see. How's everybody doing? That's good to have you here, Mark. Good to have you here, Bloody Nine. Nice to see you, Market Wizard. Jolie, good to see you. Any input on OGN, he says. Excellent. It's good to see the requests rolling in there. Let's take a look, first off, at, and just, although nobody's actually requested this one, just because I see that Bloody Nine is in the chit chat there. Good to have you. By the way, if everybody that's in here at the minute would drop a like, I'd really appreciate it. Then I thought I would bring up the previous IOTA video and show the chit chat that we had back then. I'd called the video something like why I'm planning on investing loads of money in there. And it was a little bit sort of clickbaity, just for fun and just as an experiment. Today's videos will be absolutely the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to clickbait, just as usual, as a tradition with the channel. Anyhow, in that video, you'll remember I was having a laugh about how fundamentals aren't really important. And of course, there's a big sort of misunderstanding that happens in the world with regards to fundamentals so often. And anyway, what happened is it led to a conversation in the chit chat with me and another Scotsman, as it happens, although I don't mean to presume your gender there. And I thought I would read this comment out because it's about IOTA, and then what we'll do is we'll take a look at the IOTA chart as well, right? And we could do a quick sort of look at the TA on there, and then we will move on with the suggestions and then try and get the show all more or less done within an hour if possible. So we're getting off to a good start so far. Nice to see you, Rory, and there as well. Brie, particularly Shiraz. I don't like the old cheese. Are you talking about cheeses in there? It's nice. It's it's nice. Right. Yes, of course, and as well. I don't know if Shiraz goes with cheese so much or not overall. Shiraz can let us know. and other connoisseurs. So we are going to look at IOTA, and that's going to be cool. So this is the IOTA chart just to kind of start off here, and we're seeing that it's had positive price action since we saw it managed to stay above the 236 overall, and that's the kind of more or less the implication of what I'm going to be talking about with regards to the TA. I'm going to keep it nice and brief so that the overall episode is just a few minutes long, and since that comment is obviously a beefy one, then whatever. But I think I would do the IOTA community justice, because they're a 5-year-old crypto and they've got stuff that they want to talk about, and in the last one I had a bit of a laugh, and I just show you that of course, you know, it's all swings, it's all good, right? Cool, excellent. So there's this comment he put in, and we've been talking about whether or not fundamentals. Actually, I'll kind of introduce this and make this a wee clip as well overall, just so everybody has it. Hi friends, talking about IOTA over here. We're going to be reading a comment that was left on my YouTube channel from an IOTician, I suppose, an IOTA fan of some sort. Taking a quick look at the TA as well on this one, coming in with a couple of price targets for us in the next moves as well. Let me know that you like the video and you want to see more content like this and all that sort of stuff by dropping that like button. I would really appreciate it. Here's the intro clips, in fact, as well. This is the perfect time to hit that like button, so go ahead, do that please. That would really help. That really actually genuinely helps the channel. Then after that, you can watch the video, right? Okay, so back in here. And either way, this is a live video, so be sure to join me for a video sometime, for a live stream, so you can chat about these things. Okay, let me say I appreciate the answer. You've given some thought. So we've been having a wee chit chat in there, and it's always nice to talk to people in the comments. And I do read all of them, by the way, and sometimes leave big old replies too. And we were agreeing with each other about how when you look at the charts, you can basically get everything you need. Just look at the TA and it tells you all you need to know, was part of what he was saying at the top here. But, and then this is a big but, he wrote it in capitals. This is a big but. And it don't lie, I guess, as well. You mentioned a couple of times that the fundamentals don't really matter that much unless it's huge. And he agrees there as well. And then he's saying he gets to the juicy part. I'm invested in trading various coins right now, and he has a special place in his heart for IOTA, and he really believes in it here. Now, we talked about the coin market cap position and how IOTA used to be in the top 10, but obviously not right now, but still very, very strong on a chart-based look, he's saying. There was a massive hype about the idea back in 2017, but shortly after, there were different kinds of issues holding it back, internal differences and all types of FUD surrounding it. Since then, though, there has been a shakeout of all the deadwood a couple of years ago. New team members, geniuses, now they have rebuilt the wider project from the bottom up, always working towards the old ideals of the hype. I just wonder if I can zoom in here so people can kind of see the content on their screens, I guess, as well. So there's a long comment, but we'll work through it. And it's for the IOTA community, right? This is somebody from the IOTA community talking here, and I thought, well, if you're in the IOTA community, then maybe you'd like to hear this guy's opinions, because he's got a lot to say about it, and it's all very, very positive, right? So new team members are geniuses, he's saying, and they've rebuilt the whole project from the bottom up, always working towards the old ideals of the hype from 2017. Everybody back then said it was not doable and pie in the sky. But guess what? They have succeeded in building an amazing project. I go really deep here and explain a lot, but I'll try and keep it short enough to not be annoying. Likewise, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you do, hit the like button and leave comments on the videos. You know, IOTA isn't aimed at your average crypto projects being built on it, although this new upgrade will allow for just that, like Ethereum and Polkadot, etc. But the main focus for IOTA is massive corporations and basic standard for everything in the Internet of Things space. Trust me, this is huge. They are without a doubt already in the best and strongest position to pull this off. Years ahead of anything else, nothing comes close. Well, there you go. That's incredibly positive, right? So there you go. In this chap's opinion, this is not financial advice, and of course, I'm not being paid to say this. I'm just reading a YouTube comment that came out here for the IOTA community. So you might all be sat there kind of thinking I'm preaching to the choir if you're watching this one, having searched for it on YouTube. Otherwise, I don't know. Join the conversation and let me know if you think what we have here being said by Bloody 9 is not correct. Just put it in the comments down below, and I'd love to hear it. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? He says that the use cases are far too many to mention, but everything from sensors on cars, paying for power for electric vehicles, basically any machine-to-machine payments, factories with ID issues for parts for any number of manufacturing companies, digital identity cards, basically owning and monetizing of your own personal data, secure data storage, fully digital ID for worldwide supply chains. Honestly, this is gigantic, and as I said, they're a very strong position to pull this off, already have large partners, but I'm hearing good things that after this upgrade on the 28th, there will be announcements of very large companies who will announce that they are acquiring IOTA tokens that will seemingly cause a snowball or ripple effect that will follow. Okay, here's where it gets kind of complicated, but it's an easy way to explain it. IOTA is feeless, but I'm sure you understand how Ethereum works, where the highest fee paid takes priority in network, while IOTA network will be something called mana, and whoever has the most mana will take priority on the network. Mana is generated by simply holding IOTA tokens. So get mana, they can either buy or hold very large amounts of IOTA tokens or rent mana from other IOTA token holders like other large companies. The network itself will be faster than anything else there is right now. Basically, how it works is for the more right, and it goes on, right? It goes on. Okay. Honestly, there'll be very, very strong chance it'll be adopted by massive worldwide industrial. So there's key points in here, for instance, that is saying that there are no miners, and also how it works. The more it uses the network, the faster it gets, and interesting things like that along the way. Now, of course, there's this whole concept of mana, and that could be have some TA on there as well, I suppose, and all that sort of stuff. So he says, he finishes off here by saying, now it's about to get even better. And one of the reasons for that is that there are already smart cities in Japan right now using IOTA, and it has worked. Crazy. Okay, so he says there's tons of fundamentals here to be known in terms of those types of fundamentals, and that's all very good. He says that he could go on all night and pour the S out of us all here if he hasn't already, but the bottom line is they have built it, tested it, and for the last 2 years, and it works, he says. Right, okay, so that's all of that. Let's get back to the IOTA chart. This is kind of a shout out for all those IOTA fans out there in the world. And then looking here, and let me know what you think about his comment. Thanks for sharing it. If you're in the chat at the minute as well, Bloody9, then you can add to it if anybody wants to chat away there. So there you go, there's an IOTA fan telling us all the fundamentals. Now, I still do want to point out that fundamentals, when you're looking at fundamentals in cryptocurrency, when people talk about fundamentals, what they're saying is not the same as when people talk about fundamentals in the traditional world. And therefore, when people say the importance of fundamentals in trading, and you're listening to any advice out there from somebody trying to teach you about trading and investing, and they talk about fundamentals, then that's not really the same sort of thing that you're looking at overall. And if you want to see a really good example of fundamentals, then check out the TradeSpotting channel, who talks about GME, and he talks about stuff in there that, you know, that's actually what fundamentals are. Now, if you could do the same sort of thing for a crypto, then you'd be looking at a different proposition. Here we can see that the prices have been moving towards the top side. We're above the, you know, the midpoint of the last impulse move towards the top side, and of course we're miles above the Ichimoku cloud overall here, having found a 236 Fibonacci turnaround here. You know, the prices dropped all the way down to 160, and then of course they've come back up the way, and ever since the prices have been above 184, they've been in fairly healthy territory with regards to looking towards continuing this on the way. Overall, the upward trend is looking good, and if you want to be taking about a taking profit target here in the near enough sort of next big moves up the way, price point that we're looking to is going to be the 335 price point up there at the 1618 Fibonacci area. A couple of warnings though, that there is divergence, as you can see there on the MACD, bearish divergence. So if we have some pullbacks even further, then where are we looking to? And I just want to point out the fact that of course that we have had this cross here on the ADX there, and as the prices dropped down, there was a bit of an uptake in volume here, wondering if this is signaling to us that we could have some more downside price action. Therefore, I would say that you can manage your risk at that $2 price area. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, and perhaps then the next sort of best buy point to get back in it could be looking down as far as maybe towards that 150 area. But overall, we're in good shape at the moment if we do actually manage to push up the way. We are in a consolidation phase here in the smaller time frames. We're above that 236. We have come in and done a 618 golden pocket retracement. So if you're trading this on the shorter term time frames, managing risk above 215 is the easiest way forwards. Then with sort of take profit target, bearing in mind your last two highs coming in there at sort of 250 and 268 before looking for any sort of potential breakout if you view this as being a triangle. That'll do for us with regards to IOTA. Like I say, please hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe when I make the cut of this video, I'll edit that comment at the start a wee bit, but I don't know. It's very, very good. Thanks for leaving all that and engaging in the channel. Okay, now great. Thanks. Okay, so moving on then, what we had was a request, but we haven't actually done the Bitcoin technical analysis. So let's get back to that here and do Bitcoin first. 4-hour time frame, you can see that from the chit chat that we've had so far on the show with regards to the learning about that 50% area, that we are of course below this on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so that's where we are right now, and we're looking of course to see if we can get a positive turnaround in the price action. Now the recent highs have come in there at 65k. The lows have come in here down low at 51,500, and as you can tell then, until we're above sort of 57,500 or in a really more recent abrupt kind of look into the future, immediate future time frame, 56,250 or so, then we could maybe be looking up the way, but we're going to have to be very, very, very cautious and just trade the range as it stands until we get proper movement along with volume, because it could actually still come in with a movement towards the downside. Now overall in the 24-hour time frame, this is Bitcoin technical analysis, by the way. Actually, tell you what, well, I'll just make it so that I'll do a summary at the end that's 1 minute long. On the 24-hour time frame, of course, we're moving towards the top side, having come in here and retested this cloud over here at the 54,500 price point. Now, of course, we did go all the way down towards that 51,000 area again, and we found ourselves back up above the 55,000 area. 55,555, kind of a risk management target towards that lower end of the range. If you are looking beyond that for a little bit of a sort of fake out scalp move, you could maybe look towards 54,500 or perhaps even 53,700. However, what we're going to have to acknowledge is that movements down past that area could extend on down again towards these lower areas where you're looking towards 52k. That's the price point that we actually need to stay above overall in terms of opening and closing basis time frame for this thing on the 24-hour time frame. In terms of opening and closing, then then we can sort of still say that we're planning to go with the trend being our friend. As it stands, we've had a healthy retrace, and we are in the middle of a point where we're of inflection and consolidation, where we are experiencing a negative cross just here on the Ichimoku cloud. Well, the price is obviously above the cloud itself. We're not there to say that we're getting bearish, that if we do move down past this zone, that's what we're looking to. You can see the ADX then has never really made it into that fully bearish trending stance, but we did get that negative cross, and as you can anticipate, if we did see the moving down past that 51k area, then of course then you're really going to be looking at this kind of picking up a bit of building up a head of steam at that point, or maybe you could say this is building up its head of steam now, and it would actually have, whatever way you want to look at it, this would turn blue and the strength would be there, is what I'm saying, and you'd be looking negative at that point. But we're doing good, right? And that's kind of great, because it means that there's upside targets of 69,420 and 72,000, what we call it, 72. Should we just actually choose one using TA instead of kind of making it up? Lols. 74,000 is what we'll call it there for the upside target on that one, right? So let's just do the clip here and then crack on. We're 22 minutes into the show, so we've got plenty of time here before I tune out this evening to get your coins looked at. We'll do a nice sort of, we've had an education section at the start of the show already to kind of set us up for what we'd be looking at. So that's cool, that's great. Then we looked at IOTA, did a big rambly chat about a comment, and then this is sort of the fundamentals, and then we looked at the price action for it. And we also just then ran through fairly detailed TA for the Bitcoin price action, without really getting bogged down too much in any details with regards to these oscillators down below for just now. Of course, I will just kind of cap this off by saying that we've had these three bearishly divergent highs coming in here and pushing the price down the way, but this wasn't necessarily market capitulation, bearish divergence happening within the overall oversold zone necessarily to say that you've got an actual trend changing move happening. Although, of course, strong opinions weakly held. Am I right? Yeah, high five. Cool. So let's do this then. Thanks. Thank you, my friends, for joining me for this Bitcoin technical analysis session. My name is Rocky Outcrop. If you hit that like button, I then will love you forever. And just on that note, actually, shout out to that guy who actually passed away today that wrote that song. So here we are having the Bitcoin technical analysis. And thanks for joining me. If you do join me for one day for a live stream, that'd be cool. Here's some intro clips. Actually, it went on too long there, so I'll just start that. I'll just start that again. By the way, that's a legit shout out. I've actually had sung, in fact, to my own cringe-worthy embarrassment on the show before, Meatloaf songs and the like. And that guy passed away today. The guy that wrote those songs, what do you call him? Like, I can't remember his name. So, right now off the top of my head, sorry. But yeah, big shout out to that guy. So anyway, great, excellent. Saddens me. Right. Hi, everybody. My name's Rocky Outcrop. What am I like? Hi, friends. Bitcoin technical analysis with me, your pal, Rocky Outcrop, filmed during a live stream. Join me for one of them someday. I'd love to have you. If you do actually hit that like button, then I'd super appreciate it. What are we going to do in this episode? There I am, Rocky Outcrop, crypto technical analysis. By the way, hit that like button. I'll give you another second. Right, so what we're going to do in this show is take a look at the upward price action for Bitcoin in the near future, which we are anticipating having found a potential bounce around here in the 24-hour time frame, but we're not ready to dive in quite yet because there's a couple of warnings to throw out there. Just quickly cover off the fact that obviously these highs that we've had in the recent past have been bearishly divergent. Looking at the top end of these oscillators, you can see that, and that's led to this decline in the price, which is also visible here on the DMI, for instance, where we've had that negative cross happen in the past. Now, the negative strength of trend isn't really there. If we actually see the prices push down past the Ichimoku cloud here and take out that 51k area, then things are, of course, alarm bells warning time. Until such times as that, we've had an overall healthy retrace coming back down towards these areas. There's a negative cross approaching for us potential in terms of the base and conversion line on the Ichimoku cloud there, but we're doing okay if we do see the prices go up the way, in which case, where are our overall targets? And they actually extend all the way up towards 72k and 69,420. But before we actually get too positively carried away with anything, let me just point out the fact that, of course, we are down there beneath that baseline of the Ichimoku cloud, the red one on my screen, where we have, of course, got that 50% area showing us that we're not above the not above that quite yet, and we really do need to push past that. Opportunity for us to get through the cloud here at a fairly thin point, and that would push us up towards 59,000. So it could happen, but I'm looking for this to really get a nice turnaround for us here with a positive cross and some momentum going through that. So I'm looking for volume to pick up as well. As you can see, this sort of volume on the way down the way, I want to see that on the way back up with a bit of positivity. That would be ideal for us. We could be consolidating in a type of triangle just here. We've had a negative impulse down the way. If we don't manage to take out these negative factors on the 4-hour time frame, then of course that could spell continuation towards the downside, which would then carry us through those targets on the 24-hour time frame. But there are a lot of positive things to be brought into mind. For instance, this impulse down that we haven't retraced 50% of the way past quite yet is, of course, showing us that we've got a good dose of hidden bullish divergence as we see the ADX turn around on the start to slope negatively down the way as the sort of negative momentum maybe tapers off here with this consolidation. Good opportunity for movements towards the top side. So those 24-hour time frame, those targets then for you, just to see how we're coming up with that calculation to come up with those numbers. We are, of course, looking up to this region here. We have our extension, having taken out this previous massive resistance, then that would be at 65k. If we can do that, which is obviously a profit-taking target, and I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but you could take perhaps a third of your position at that price point just to be on the safe side, and then looking up towards 73,568. Where's your in-between safe side point? Well, just past this 1.272 in there at 69,420. My name's been Rocky Outcrop. If you hit the like button, then I really, really do appreciate it. Do that. Yeah, excellent. Right, cool. So that's that section. That's that section done. So moving on then, we've had requests come in already. Hi, Rocky, can you look at GET protocol, please? For instance, from Roy. Got a couple of them on the old backlog, though, so far. We've had somebody asked for AVAX and somebody asked for AGN. So just let me real quick do that then. AVAX USDT. Here we have a VAX here for us. Couple of lines on the VAX chart. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Dropping that like button, it really does help the channel grow. Join me for a live stream, of course, as well sometime. Is really, you know, super nice if to see you there. We can request coins. Can hardly speak. Right, yeah. A VAX technical analysis for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining me. We have, of course, a big consolidation period on the go here for us. We've never managed to take out our upper side resistance level in there at 37. We've not managed to break down past the 23 support level. Trading between those two areas is trading the range at the moment. Zooming on in the way, you can see that, of course, we are below the cloud overall. The 50% line, the baseline of that Ichimoku cloud, is lining up with the leading span as well, just showing you exactly how tight this consolidation has been for some time. This will break fairly soon. Key levels, of course, to look towards the downside, that 23, like I said already. 37, looking for consecutive bit of continuation up here, bit of follow through. We could maybe just call this 40 perhaps to be a little bit or 38, right? But at the minute, we know the current targets for us, like I say, trading between the range. It's not exactly rocket science right now. We've taken out the 236. So long as we can then move up the way, then nice, get stuck into this cloud. If you want to then take profit at reasonable targets, then you've got a couple of them up the way. $34, for example. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. $36.96. You know, you could take profits there as well, with leaving some on the table if we do actually push outside of this zone, and then of course then taking all your profits if we do push back down the way. Going down past the 618 at that point would be going past the 236, and it would just kind of show you that we're continuing to range. We can see that Ichimoku cloud does indeed show us that the range at the minute is it requires us to push outside and up past that $40 area to really secure an upward side movement. So on this one, I want to point out the fact that this is more or less a liquidity zone for us, but breaking past that carries us as nicely up towards a potential $52 target. Hitting that like button, super appreciated. Really do appreciate that if you do so kindly. By the way, on these downsides, looking between the range, look for bullish divergence, as you can see here between these last two lows. Likewise, on the upsides, look for bearish divergence. As you can see on the way up here, from time to time, you're getting signals as the price goes up that it could pull down, and then there you go, trading nice and spiffing easy for everybody. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Share it with your friends. They'll really thank you. I appreciate you. Right, nice one. So that was cool. Nice to see you, Trade Spotting. Thanks for joining us. Let me just, what was the other guy that, who was the other one? Like, so that's cool, by the way. How's it going? I'm glued to BTC and out of charts right now. Says bloody Nin9. We already took a look at it versus dollar, so I'll not sort of retrace over old ground at the minute. Let's just see, any input on OGN, said somebody, and then there was another request after that. So if you don't ask, by the way, then you don't get, in a sense. But also, if you do ask and you don't specify what time frame or indeed what pairing that you would like to take a look at, then it's my duty to tell you that you will simply receive USDT and 4-hour technical analysis. That's the sweet spot a lot of the time. Anyhow, with this one, we can see that before our very eyes. Ichimoku Cloud giving you a good impression of the previous areas of price action and how that influences potential upcoming resistance on the charts, or indeed support. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Thanks for joining me. I'm just going to run these intro clips again here so that you can have a second to hit that like button. If you haven't hit it already, hit the like button, please. Please don't make me beg. Lol. Right, cool. And by the way, this is a live stream as well. I'm aware of that for everybody in the audience. Join me for one, though, sometime if you're watching this later on. Of course, I make these clips, as I say, for the folks back home, the ones that didn't quite make it to the live stream. Looking at the charts here, you can see that we have moved up the way. Is this a potential breakout? Biggest warning for us comes in the shape of the ADX here. This is the ADX, Rocky Outcrop ADX. You can get access to this description. Just click that Gumroad link. It shows you that there was a big volatility potential spike here in around this zone, and that what so often happens is the prices return back to where they left off at. So we can see here that the prices, kind of the party stopped, the musical chairs of that white zone stopped when the prices were in around about this this drop here on the prices. And then, of course, where have they subsequently come back up to? In this same zone that they dropped down from when we saw that there. So interesting stuff that on that indicator, wouldn't you say? And that's come in here, of course, at previous resistance as well, as demonstrated by that cloud. So what we're looking for is to see if we can get this momentum. Now, breaking through the cloud, lovely time to do it is at its thinnest point right here. 45-degree price action towards the top side would be absolutely glorious. And then we would see, of course, a positive cross between the conversion line and the baseline, and that is more or less definitely going to happen should the prices manage to stay above $2, giving us our nice and easy risk management target here. If you are looking for an early or easy enough entry on this one, then be sure to what am I saying, an early easy enough entry, I don't know, whatever. If you're looking for the prices to pull back down the way and you're still going to play this aggressively, then that might be a $2 price point, might be good for you to try and take a then potential move up the way. Where are we looking in terms of upward side targets? Well, in terms of just playing this with regards to the retrace back up the way, simple profit taking target quite likely to be coming in there at 268. Then, of course, now I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, that's a rough estimate for us, but actually looking at this thing and thinking, well, hey, if this actually does push up, then we've managed to avoid having a shoulder, head and shoulder zone in here potential by taking out this rough area where that right shoulder could be dispelled at. We want to be taking out the head overall, of course, then and looking up the way, but if we do both those things by pushing past that 618 and then the top side of that previous that high up there, our previous all-time highs, is it on this one, then we're looking up towards 350, but then beyond up towards 459 is our next profit taking target coming in there. Anywhere between $4 and 459 really is going to be where you're going to find a potential resumption of the volatility after another impulse, if we have one. Looking for us to be able to capitalize on this potential capitulation in an area where we still have strength with a turnaround on the ADX, and then of course hammer home the significance of that with coming in here with a nice movement up the way and actually managing to do it without bearish divergence. That would take us up to those highs. Coming in here with a bit bearish divergence, then of course look out for the retraces earlier on. Excellent. By the way, hit that like button. I did ask you to earlier on. I'd really appreciate it if you would do so. That was of course OGN USDT. We then had another request earlier on as well. Somebody said something, let me see, what was it? Harmony. Excellent. Let's look at Harmony. Been wanting to look at that again. Glad somebody suggested it on the show. Just a shout out to all my Link and Tezos buddies and Ethereum buddies and all that out there. Of course, that's what a large part of the audience has been built on, those videos. Just a quick reminder, if you don't ask for it, there isn't necessarily a guarantee that will actually take a look at it. We are flying along here in the episode. We're about 36 minutes in. So far we've looked at Bitcoin. Actually, we did an education section, then we had a chit chat about education section, well worth watching for helpful information with regards to what we're talking about for the rest of the live stream, by the way. Then we took a look at the IOTA sort of fundamentals, if you will, as explained by one of the outcropticians in a YouTube comment. Leave your own comments and videos, and of course I do read and respond. And then we took a look at the IOTA TA as well, came up with a couple of targets, maybe some risk management zones on there worth paying attention to. Then we took a look at AVAX, was it perhaps then? And then we took a look at OGN. I might have missed one in there as well, and now we're looking at Harmony 1. And if you want to sort of ask for your own coin to be looked at, then go ahead and do so. As we can see here, the prices have of course been moving towards the downside. For the clarity of the audience's viewership, right, the viewership's eyes right now, I'll just remove the Ichimoku cloud real quick so you can see the price action itself flowing towards the downside, coming in with a low here and then a subsequent lower low. This orange box being thoroughly tested with the potential for a triangular area in here. Could this potentially be a turnaround at that point? Well, it's interesting when you see these sorts of head and shoulders types moves on the MACD and other oscillators, to kind of think to yourself, well, wait a minute, how's this line up? Looking historically, we can see that this is of course then showing us that we've got bullish divergence between the last two significant lows overall for us. In fact, actually, you know, that came in as being really bullishly divergent, pinged back up the way. This in a sense undoes that. But it's a strange one, isn't it? It's this a strange sort of setup like that. I don't know if I want to call that bullish divergence necessarily or not, but instead we can kind of look at the overall kind of potential for this to have that head and shoulders set up just there, a bit of a triangle on the go just here, and on a smaller time frame even, then maybe you've got a sort of head and shoulders or some sort of setup for a potential turnaround. Really don't care too much about the pattern side of this here. Instead, I'm looking at the ability for this to maintain itself inside the orange box there. In fact, I'll just make this into a clip for the folks back home. I'll just summarize it here for you real quick, though, or kind of, you know what I'm saying. So we've got this downward price action. You know, we're not 100% clear on whether or not that's the divergence that you're looking for is there on the MACD, but you've got sort of interesting head and shoulders. You look towards the end of this double bottom just here, where of course it is bullishly divergent on the last two lows, and on the RSI you can see that it is bullishly divergent between those two lows, giving you like the look that we're looking for if you want for us to be able to turn this around. And then you can consider this to be whatever you like in terms of patterns. We talked about it higher up as being on a descending triangle, and then of course this is sort of like a wedge at this point here, but I really don't care too much about the whole pattern analysis in terms of this one right now. I'm looking at this zones overall, and of course, you know, this move here hasn't worked out in terms of like, you know, this is the question for us right now in terms of our potential setup overall. The first profit taking targets do come along the road there, and as we can see, if we sort of bring this down the way, you're looking at very sort of slight profits if you want to maintain your position past taking out this previous wick. So that's going to be our main area to point out in terms of if we're going for another low. At the minute, I'm feeling kind of bullish on this for a potential turnaround, but we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see if we actually break past key areas, which I'll then say now in this summary here for the folk back home. Hi friends, take a look at Harmony One here. Well, the big old Ethereum killer has been suffering a little bit with this downward price action, but there's a good chance that we see a turnaround here, coming back into this orange box area and consolidating the prices between the lows of this orange box, between the sort of 12 and 14 price point is where we're looking to range at the minute. If we can push past the 14 price point, then we've got big targets towards the top side. Let's cover off the risk angle first. We've got a real significant zone in here at the 10 cents area. Taking that out, well, you know, that's obviously fairly negative, and we'll be looking potentially even as low as 4 cents, but we'll not go too far just there. Just say manage your risk. I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice, by the way, but we're managing risk there, right? And then we're looking up towards the top side and saying, well, there's your first kind of profit taking target if you're looking for maybe a 1 to 1.5 to 1 area trade here. 2 to 1 if you're looking up towards 15. 14 is a decent area for just saying that we're going to range, you know. Hopefully we see a turnaround though, because looking at the oscillators on the 4 hour time frame, we see between this last low and this low here, the most recent major low where that wick is, where this horizontal support is, then you can see we had bullish divergence there across the board with those oscillators. And actually as well, interestingly enough, on the ADX here, we can see this distinct downward slope coming right in here at the 30. If the ADX goes down past that, I feel like that we're inclined for at least a bounce. You know, first off 14, then 15, and then the area for the key inflection on the markets right now comes in at 17.95. Where am I looking if we take out that? Well, obviously, well, it goes without saying that I'm looking up towards the all-time highs in there at 22 cents, obviously, but actually there's a far more ambitious target in mind on this one, and I'm not going to be shy in saying that we're looking up as high as 29 cents on it right here on this show. Well, that's quite a big target. If you like the sound of that, drop a like button for me. I would really appreciate it. That's been Harmony One versus USDT. We have got various factors at the minute saying that we could potentially turn around. Of course, we're very aware of the crucial area right in here between the 10 and 12 cents zone. We're at 12 at the minute. Let's see if we can double down and take it to the moon. Excellent. How about that? So that was the Harmony 1 clip. Where did I see anybody else? Daniel Park. You got any TA on DOT? He says. Daniel Peak, sorry. Got any TA on DOT? Right. Danny Morgan says, damn, I effed up. I bought SafeMoon. Lesson learned though. Danny, you should have read the old comments on the video, on the last video. Let me just look at the last video. Did you see the comments on the last video? Let's take a look and see over here. Hope it doesn't play my ad right now. So where is it? I mean, Mike, you know, the channel advert thing. Where's my bonus coins? Where is she? There's SafeMoon already right there. And then the comment section in here. Bit of a laugh for us. Where is it? By the way, I do read all these comments and all the rest of it. So thanks for all of that. Yeah, this video didn't age well. That was funny. Why not? Well, essentially because First Out thinks that, wow, big rise, but warning, big dump approaching. Doesn't mean, wow, big rise, but warning, big dump approaching, presumably. Yeah, thanks for that follow through on that one as well, TradeSpotting. Wow, big rise, but warning, big dump approaching. So anyway, whatever. Moving on. Moving on. Right. So yeah. So what was it? I think I missed something that somebody said there in terms of he says, do you have any TA on DOT? He says, right. So let's just take a quick look at DOT as well. For us, by the way, my name's Rocky Outcrop. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for joining me. I'm just loading up the DOT chart here so that we can take a look at the TA. But in terms of fundamentals, by the way, and I'm sure everybody loves to hear it, DOT has got very strong ones, what with one of its founders being the co-founder of Ethereum and its project being incredibly strong with its amazing coding going into the open source world with the contributions that they're making with regards to parity tech and the, of course, the substrate network, code base, I suppose you could say, for blockchain. Right, so DOT. USDT, thanks for joining me. Like I say, actually, here's the intro clips. Running this 10 seconds, and, you know, you can hit the like button. So even if you're actually skipping it, you know, some people double tap on the right-hand side of their phone, skip 10 seconds, whatever. Just tap again, hit the like button, tap again, just don't hit it an even number of times, of course. And then what we're looking at here is that, of course, this move down past this key area. As you can see, a very shocking move when it did happen, and then, of course, it came on down a little bit further. Must have been pointing at something in this region in previous TA on this one. But what we're seeing then, like, because I'm just looking at this for the first time right here, right now, I can see that we have, where's my HMO cloud disappeared to? I removed it in the previous thing by mistake. Ha, silly me. Right, so as we can see here, we are below this, we are below the 50 line, we're below the Ichimoku cloud. That's all very obvious, but you can see that actually the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud lines up perfectly with that area, what it did for a second there, and that's interesting enough. In there at $40 as well, round number. You've seen a few factors in there, and of course now we're seeing that the lead span, the negative lead span here, is of course at that line as well. Wow, interesting stuff. So we can see that the big target for us is $40. Are we going to be able to do something like that? Well, will this bullish divergence we're getting between these last two lows let us do so? If we take out this previous high just here, then I think that we've got a fairly solid chance of coming up and at least testing that zone within that cloud. Would be good to see it, and that really stands at the minute as being a nice solid, more than 10% move towards the top side. That's still on, even though we've had a rise up so far. So I still think that that's probably going to be our next target. Where would I be looking to in terms of risk management just now? What's a decent enough area? Well, coming in from that high to this low, you can see that it's actually quite easy to manage your risk at this $35 area. Movements down past $35 could see us going down $35. What's that? What is that? Anyway, movements down past $35 could see us going down towards the towards the $33 area, and maybe even testing our previous lows. Now we don't want to be doing that. Of course, we don't want to be doing that. We just pushed up past The neutral line on the stochastics, we have, of course, got the negative slope just coming in here on the ADX, on the DMI, giving us that chance to say, well, hey, the negative strength of trend is burning off there. And if we push past the neutral line on the RSI and then therefore maintain ourselves above the neutral line on the stochastics as well at the same time, things looking good for us. I'm going to say that we're going to come in here and test this zone now. I would actually say that I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but you're going to get a second bite of the cherry should we push past 40. So just be aware of that. The 618 is actually up there at 42. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'll take half my profits there, the other half in there at 32, or maybe a half of the half, and then look for perhaps then to see if we retest 40 before continuation towards the top side, which of course I think overall we could get. Obviously lovely classic BART formation in here, but we didn't take our market structure lows overall. This is the benefit, of course, then that you can see of putting in a low there, then a higher low just there, and a higher low just there, giving you the ability to say overall, you know, we're absolutely going in for highs, having put in a higher high there, higher high there, and a higher high just there, even though, of course, you've got Bart Simpson in here saying hi. Right, great, excellent. Oh, like button. Right, cool. So that was good. That was good, wasn't it? That was good. Right, there's your .ta buds. Bloody nine. Basically, if Bitcoin can behave above 56,300, IOTA could very well prove me right soon. Otherwise, like you said, we could get a lower entry point. Yeah, sure, buddy. I mean, like there is that aspect to rising tides lifts all boats. Let's just quickly check in with the total market cap. I did make a video about this the other day as well. Well, wrong list there. Total market cap, folks, back above $2 trillion. Back above $2 trillion. That's nice to see. But whoops. Doopsie. There we go. Shout out to Peter Heuer there, by the way. Nice one. ETH will lead the alt market in the next few days. Well, I'll take a look at ETH in a few seconds here. And I just want to point out to folk that I was telling everybody to be aware of the strength versus Bitcoin. Anyway, what we can see here is this lovely Ichimoku cloud again here showing us that we're coming in for a positive cross right here, right now. Time to test the cloud, time to break through, if you like, with regards to total market cap, push back into the plus 2 trillions happy dappy zone with potential to flip previous resistance into support at that round number area, breaking through potentially at the cloud's thinnest point right here for us right now. Of course, negative price action from here on is very bad, but looking at it right there, it's at that precipice point, and that's where you want to see it. So friends, you know, that was the total market cap. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Hitting that like button is super appreciated. In fact, I'll run the intro clips again so that you get a chance to hit the like button. Right, crypto technical analysis from Rocky Outcrop. Join me for it sometime. And remember, if you are watching this at another date, that this is during a live stream, so join me for a live stream sometime. And we are rolling versus Bitcoin, having moved up so darn good. What did we talk about in this area? Well, we talked about, actually it was this area just here, lols, but it was the same sort of dealio just there, that we had a diamond happening in around about that 36 zone, looking up towards breaking profits in at 41, and well, it didn't quite get so high. We did see a pullback. Actually, we talked about this on the live stream just there as well the other day, coming in, testing the Ichimoku cloud there at this price point in at the 38 and moving on up the way, and very, very good. Now, what we're actually looking to do is move on and break past these previous areas. If we see a pullback at the minute, I'm looking to see, can we, you know, maintain the structure overall. Every time that we get a little bit of a high up here will help give us that, you know, bit of extra sort of support resistance in the future, if you like, looking at the Ichimoku cloud that way. That's not, you know, technically maybe the best way to describe it, but it's how it gets described, and that would be nice to see. But I think we could see the potential for a pullback versus Bitcoin just here. So let's just check in with the Ethereum charts and see, okay, so maybe what we are looking at the minute would be this, for this to evolve into sort of a bit of a retest situation, looking towards that 2250 area in terms of 2250. If we see a pullback, if we do over the period of the next few hours, so like maintaining 2,400 is of course essential with this one. We've got a positive cross overall just there, and as you can see, you know, we could get a discount on our Ethereum and look for a nice bounce if we see there's a 6% move just there, which makes it really super easy if you're not in a position to manage your risk, because really you have to admit that like movements down past this sort of general area just here aren't necessarily worth keeping a hold of. And then you can look up towards your previous high, giving you in this move there a nice 5-to-1 target. I'm not a risk to reward. I'm a risk to reward guy. I'm not a financial advisor. Go figure. Right, anyway, always do your own research. So this here is of course the terror, the area to look to if we are going to want to get a sort of scare in the price action. Now we saw the prices recover, very, very good. If we do look down the way, this has kind of ascended slightly, and I would say that's maybe now past the point of which it was the terror, and instead we've moved into sort of the Victorian era and that sort of 1900s. So we don't want to be going down to sort of a Victorian era, if you like, in terms of price points on this one, down to that 1906. Shall we call it the just about, we'll call it sort of First World War, World War One zone, right? We don't want to be. This would be the World War One terror. Would be the next area if we're looking to that. But we can recover, as we know, as human history has shown, right? But anyway, in the meantime, we're looking down to sort of 250 if we do need to drop down. But at the minute, it's easy enough to manage the risk with the potential just to go up here, take a chunk of profit, and then of course carry on up the way. Overall, this has probably had, indeed did have that bearish divergence come in there. We look down towards the lows. Could we break our market structure? No, we couldn't overall in terms of the small 4-hour time frame here, which is what I'm doing the TA on. But in terms of the bigger time frames, we actually have those lower targets down there at 1591. That's just why 1900 becomes the terror, because of course if we break past that WW1 price point and around about the low 1900s, then of course you are looking down towards 1500. That'd be scary. But right now I'm going to say that the reason for me being positive is that you have the right to be with this nice little cross just here. Well, the ADX being, you know, just where it is of course not very great. The little touch of divergence on the stochastics could be a little warning sign to us. But overall, I'm saying that we're at this point. If we reject from there, then it's just kind of getting rejected from the bullish control zone in the first pass, and I'm looking for 2250. It'll be my bullish entry with the same sort of profit taking targets in mind, with the potential to move on up the way towards higher targets, ultimately looking towards $3,000. That's your Ethereum technical analysis. But we could see a bit of a pullback if we see Bitcoin price action, get its follow through with its nice little push up the way and going for a retest up towards that 60k area, and then, or indeed perhaps just 58 or 57, and just trade the range, which is the most likely thing really over there. But and then of course you would see it pushing back up the way again, and that might be the dynamic for today into tomorrow for us on that one, with overall potential continuation to just keep on going up and get us up towards that 46 goal. Boom. 0.046 by the way. Right, what else has anybody been suggesting so far? Right, just picked up Tezos. Figured because it's older, has more actual people versus banks, their own entire thing, maybe a better long-term hold, but consider benefiting from the fact that the APY was the same. Kevin Yang says something, but it's not coming in there. Oh, it's yeah, right, great. I just bought Bitcoin on Coinbase. That's all good that you're chatting away there. So somebody's talking about Tezos. I'm going to real quick do some Tezos TA just because it's my buddies. In fact, I'll just real quick do link in Tezos for everybody that's watching. We're 55 minutes into the show. I'll be leaving the show in the next sort of 20 minutes, I suppose. Alrighty, okay. So there you know. So get your chit chat in if you've got some chit chat to have, because we'll be able to have a bit of chit chat section here. This is going to be Tezos technical analysis, right? Okay. So thanks for joining me. If you hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. I'll just sort out the charts in the next 30 seconds as I run this intro clip, giving you a second to hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. So hit it. Here we go. And back into the charts. Now, I do appreciate that there's a lot of noise on this one. Don't worry about it. We don't even need any of that for just now. We'll just use the at a glance Ishimoku Cloud indicator for us, showing us we've got this downward movement, but nice bullish divergence on these previous two lows. Got a nice target to look to in terms of $6.38. Of course, movements up from here to there, exceptional. You're looking here at a solid 15% rise in price if you do get something in around about 640, but that would be an area for us to be aware of as being a profit taking target. Now, it's movements beyond that. At the minute, my next target up there is going to be 768. There's good reason for that. That's the previous high, and I think that's a nice place to look to. But if you want to be actually sort of kind of more less greedy and look at these things, you're going to have to acknowledge that this $7.13 price point, we've had that drawn in the past, showing us that line. You know, that's where 720, you call it, really is going to be your next area to look to for profit taking. So you got those three targets towards the top side. I'll just reiterate them for you again real quick. Sort of 620 to 630, 710 to 720, and then sort of 750 to 770 are the three areas that you could be looking to on this one to try and capitalize. Can we get a nice movement up off the back of this bullish divergence, or indeed could we potentially be looking down the way a little bit lower, popping up towards the 24-hour time frame? You can see that while we have had a shocking movement down the way, we haven't really broken. Well, we have broken a couple of our previous lows in here, but there's this inflection point just here, and we've come down and been supported by it at this area so far. But if we don't get movement up the way, then we could find ourselves, going down as low as 440. That has to be acknowledged. That's where our previous market structure is, and we've come so far already. What would be the biggest thing to say, we're turning this around perhaps at this point? Well, one of many things is that we've got we've had the golden pocket retrace. I think so many Fibonacci's on that. It's making me laugh at the minute. Versus Tezos versus Bitcoin, come in here, got that retest already in terms of what we're looking at in terms of the big drop off, which is why overall I'm looking for this to try and get a movement up just now, even though in terms of the daily time frame on the dollar pricing, you're looking at it being at a little bit of a no man's land section for us just over there. Okay, versus Ethereum, same sort of deal. Can we same sort of deal that we've come down, tested it hard. If we're at that lower line right now as we speak. So brilliant area for managing your risk, right here, right now. That's something wonderful for you if you want to look into it. Overall, this is the 24-hour time frame. That's been Tezos technical analysis. Dropping that like button, it really does help the channel loads, like 5 million. It helps the channel 57 million. That's how much it helps the channel. What did we have here? Did anybody request a coin? Can anybody in the chat let me know? I'm just looking at chit chat now. Can you let me know if I've missed anything, by the way? Because I'll be coming back to this in a second. Seeing, or if there's, we have got quite a few. If I've missed anything, oh my goodness. There's good chat in there. Excellent. That's nice to see. Excellent. Keep the party going. If you haven't hit that like button, of course, do that. Right. So I'm going to just quickly do Chainlink as well. So here we have it. And thanks for your comment in there just to confirm that was the right idea. Rook, excellent for joining. Thanks for joining me. Sometimes you need to take a second, right? Sometimes you need to take a second. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I really do appreciate it. My name is Rocky Outcrop. This is Link Technical Analysis. Actually, though, this is filmed during a live stream, so I'm going to show you in just a second what that looks like. Join me for one of them one day. But hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It massively helps the channel. Please, I'll give you another second. Okay, so this is the live stream setup. You come in, we can chat and everything, talk about coins and all the rest of it. I don't know why I've got See a Coin written on the screen just there. Let me get rid of that for us. Don't know why that's up there. But yeah, okay, so live screen, big me. Here we go, taking a look at the charts. And as you can see right there on the Link USDT 24-hour time frame, that we came down and tested the lower end of this Ichimoku cloud. And this is like absolutely glorious for the channel, of course, in terms of the TA that we talked about. What did we say the other day? Now this sounded crazy at the time. Do you remember? Drop a like button if you remember. Drop a like button if you feel intrigued. The prices were in at around about this area, and I was saying to everybody, this zone between these two blocks is going to be super interesting for the prices, and we might actually see profit taking coming in at around about, now as I just said in terms of the channel, 41 up to 44 instead, or whatever. I was taking profit in around about 44 myself. few reasons for that. You can see right into that box there, of course, speaks for itself. But then the prices, and could the prices then go up and also come all the way back down and retest this area in this time frame before coming back up again, recovering, and then going towards the top side? Oh my goodness, absolutely Nostradamus, eat your heart out. Like, oh my god, that's the best price prediction that has ever been in the world. And I'm the first person to tell you that you can't tell the future, and that everybody who pretends that they can is an absolute liar. How did we talk about that? We talked about it in terms of risk, and of course risk to reward is how you operate as a trader. Right now then, let's focus back in on risk and sort of, remind people that that you really do need to be aware of this zone. Good opportunity for longs from here at this 37 price point. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, and I'd be looking up towards that next target in there, $49. Let's kind of not push it right up as much as the round number. If you are looking for the round number, then why not, and being that greedy, then why not be greedy enough to say $52.66? Now that would be a better, sort of more appropriate greedy target, bearing in mind as well that there could easily be profit taken at the two previous targets that we spoke about, indeed $41 to $44. Managing your risk here at 37.50 is of course wise when looking down the way. You can see that it's a more than 10% drop off down to where our next area, where would be your best buy point for you. So it's kind of going to be up to you, but I'm telling you how to do it. So there's none of this if he's saying the price could go up or down. Yeah, man, buddy, right? I'm saying the price could go up or down, but I'm telling you that if it goes down past this price point over here at 37 or so, that I would be inclined to be looking back in at that sort of 33 to 34 zone then thereafter. And of course that's 10%, and it's really up to how you want to manage your trades. Of course, there are going to be profit taking people operating in about these areas where we've had our previous highs already. But if you're even looking at this from a sort of simple Fibonacci point of view here, then we're way above the 236. We're right at the 618, of course, and this could see a pullback from here. Now the 50% line's in there at 36.67. That could be your risk management zone overall, and of course it really depends, because overall what I am saying is that I'm looking towards the top side, numerous targets coming in there, and as you can see, just shy of those targets is probably better, or indeed you could even push up towards the real next target of $54, like 44 before. 54 would be how I would probably say is the tippity top of the next one till we get a pullback. I don't know though, not going to say that I can predict the future ridiculously accurately every time, and I'm certainly not even going to try to. We'd like to point out a few negative factors, and it's really, the 618 is right there. We have got this downward sloping stochastics. We have got a negative cross on the DMI. This of course really means that you would want to really sort of tighten up that risk management, because what we can say is that it's just for the lack of bearish divergence in the most recent high and the overall upward trend, and of course the fact that we're above key market structure areas and haven't taken out the sort of the 50% area and found a bounce, blah blah blah, is that we're of course looking for the prior trend to continue. But this is all about risk management on the show. Liking that button is going to help this channel grow, so please do hit it. Hit the like button. I'm going to ask you one last time, hit the like button. In fact, now for everybody who wants to see versus Bitcoin, in fact, here as well. So thanks for looking in at this one. This is the link versus Bitcoin section. So again, hitting that like button, massively appreciated. But I'll actually not run the intro clips right here, right now for you. I'm just going to drop in a couple of seconds of technical analysis. What we can see here is there's a Fibonacci drawn in the background. I'm going to have to extend the right lines over so that you can see it a bit more clearly, and I'll make it all white for now so you can see the clear lines that I'm actually talking about and hide the other ones off the background there as well. Lots of stuff on the go. We've had a measured move up towards the top, following on from a wedge with the link pricing, coming in, getting our target perfectly, and then experiencing retraces. The retraces though in this time frame are showing us that they just came in at expected areas of support and resistance, giving us actually that support in here at the key price areas around about 60, if you like, this 0006, and then bringing us on up towards the 0.007 areas yet again, and that's where we're floating around in between those those two prices at the moment. So can we continue up? Well, if we look in a couple of key areas, let me just point out this one here. I'll make it right in red for you. Is this red line here? This is going to be my red cutoff line, and say that, well, in terms of the Bitcoin link pairing here, that if the prices drop below 0.0065, that I am going to anticipate a potential move down, maybe 10% again towards this support zone. Staying above it then, of course, means that we're looking up towards our next target, and things start to get really greedy sounding really quickly over here on this link pairing. And I'm going to just show you what I'm talking about, because if we do start to explode, and by the way, this is of course the mother of the this could be a massive Frankenstein's monster of Hulk, incredible fury, fantastic superhero-ness during an alt season, and the first target we'll be taking up towards that 0.0012 area. That's right. So looking from where we are right now up to these areas up there, you're talking about an 85% incline if we do get that massive move up the way. Now, that's not necessarily guaranteed. It won't necessarily happen all at once, and I'm not a financial advisor, and none of this is financial advice, but what that's against is looking back at our previous downward market movement and the bottom in here that's coming up and breaking the market structure. So if we can actually move past these price points, namely the 78 area and up towards the 85, that zone in there, then we're doing really, really well. So just draw that on, and then I'll sort of sign off for now. Thanks for joining me. Liking that button, it would really help me. Hit that like button, like that button, like that, hit that like button. Thank you very much. Thanks. Right, cool. Okay, check in with the chat. Thanks, Rocky says, dude, man, you're welcome. Juan Carlos Barameda, I am here late, but better late than never. It's always good to see you, my friend. R. Ross says, Chainlink is great. First profits at $50. That's what he's looking at. That's what some other people have been talking about recently, too. Salmon Channel wants to see BNB and ZETC. Phil's asking for a Link USDT, and we looked at that one, so that's good to have covered it off. Sean Magner says, can you have a look at FET? Looks like an inverse head and shoulders has formed. Could be wrong. Let's take a look at FET. Okay, so by the way, friends, thanks for joining me for this stream. If you haven't hit the like button already, then please go ahead and do it. We're actually going to take a look right here, right now at fetch.ai technical analysis. My word, really, wow, what a really big uptrend. Let's bring some clarity to you all on the go right here, right now. Thanks so much. By the way, Sean Magner, who's asking me right now in the live thingy here to take a look at FET, it is versus dollar that you want to look at it. Let me know. Here's the intro clip. During this section, if you take a second to hit the like button, it means an awful lot. I really mean it. It means a lot. So thanks. Genuinely, just going to take a second here. Thank you if everybody hits the likes button. Seriously, thanks. Right, cool. So here we have it. And he was asking, is there an inverse head and shoulders? And well, on the 24-hour time frame, you'd be more inclined to look at this in a first glance scenario and say that we're looking at a traditional head and shoulders, right? A regular one with, let me just kind of draw then this shoulder sort of zone here, this head zone, and a sort of shouldery area just here with a neckline overall in that area. And then, of course, the sort of the typical thing that people like to do in terms of measuring them by taking it from the top down to the neckline and saying, well, hey, we could be going down even further. But let's just bear in mind that if you are looking at it from a Bulkowski's textbook point of view, now not everybody does, and that's totally fine, but it's just sort of an easy way of kind of managing your risk in terms of when you're looking at moves that generally speaking lead to very greedy outcomes for people, that you could be, that you would be looking towards the sort of 60% of that measuring stick, pardon me, 60% of it comes right in precisely where that wick is, right? It's incredible, really, overall. That it's 60% of that measuring stick is right there. And I just used the Fibonacci tool to discover that because it was easy to measure 60% with it. That's why I did that. So there you go. So we've done that. Could we potentially turn around from just here? Is this the support and resistance that we didn't know that we needed to have, etc., etc.? Well, it could be. Now, here's the thing. Maybe on the lower time frames, we're seeing an inverse head and shoulders, like was actually suggested by Sean Magner. Could we see something giving us a potential to turn around in this zone? Looking at that low and then to this low, well, okay, so the bigger, broader picture, we've not got that divergence just there, but yeah, okay, fair enough. We actually, went sideways for ages there. Really, the last two lows are these two just here, and there's not very much there. So we've not got that divergence on the shoulder to head area. If you look at this in the 4-hour time frame, thinking that it starts off with the left shoulder at 49 and the head at 38, and the potential right shoulder forming up here at 48, 49 as well, then that's maybe not brilliant. But we have got a kind of head and shoulders-esque effort here where we can see in terms of like being able to just draw a line around the show a neckline on the RSI, etc. So we can see that now the resistance is coming right in here at the neckline as well, this general zone, whether that's the 50% area shown by this baseline of the Ichimoku cloud, whether this is the sort of the actual cloud itself that you're referring to, or indeed just simply speaking the previous neckline area. And necklines and these things work like zones, right? So this is so could it be a potential head versus head and shoulders? Yes, it could. In which case, what's the measuring stick off of this one? Just to kind of give us that fullness of the analysis, I'll give it an even more generous stick than it maybe deserves, just to show it that it could pierce the top end of that Ichimoku cloud, and then remind people that if we were to fly on up the way, that of course we could experience some resistance in there, and it would be absolutely natural to come in and retest this zone overall. So what my profit taking target is going to be 58, then it's going to be 68, then it's going to be a re-entry at 58 to 50 or sort of area, and then hopefully be able to continue towards the top side. Overall, justifying this price action by saying that if we maintain prices above the Ichimoku cloud after that point, and of course here at the minute above 50, 51, then we could be broaching that 236 retracement point of past this previous trend, and then of course that puts you looking up towards 70, and that's a decent move, giving you a sort of 30-40% move up the way could happen as a result of that. So that could happen. Right. Okay. Seller, please, says James Graves. Okay, seller, please. Seller. I almost wrote please. Doing my brain in there. Right, folks, great, excellent. Thanks for joining me. Taking a look at Seller, a coin that I actually haven't looked at in quite a while. As you can see here on the 4-hour time frame, we are looking at a downward price action, a downward trend, if you will. What's the trend? It's your friend. Are we going to continue to treat this then as our friend, this downward price action? Are we going to look back at the other friend that we've got, which is obviously a very bullish trend friend, right? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to give you a second to hit that like button by running the intro clips. Really would appreciate it. Of course, you can wait and see if you want to hit the like button at the end, but I tell you what, it makes a massive difference to the channel. Be sure to join me for a live stream sometime. They're a hell of a lot of fun. This, of course, was suggested by James Graves, as you can see there if you look down the bottom of the text box just now. And here we have the chart. So this is a question: are we going to be able to see the prices turning around? Looking at the Ichimoku cloud, you can see that in terms of the lagging line, it's below the cloud, confirming that sort of negativity. The price actions below that baseline, below that cloud. Now, there's a couple of things. We have managed to go past the conversion line. Now, the conversion line itself isn't like what you're looking to necessarily. It is, of course, an early indication for us, but we want to see those things cross, and we actually want to see them cross above the cloud overall here, and we want to see the prices then move above 70 to give us that chance of it happening. So is there a way that we could get to 70 is kind of the question for us on this coin. Can we get to 70 and put ourselves in a position for that to happen? Bringing up these oscillators down below, you can see that while we didn't necessarily get like bullish divergence or anything here on the previous lows on the, now actually correction, Rocky, between those two lows, we got this sort of bullish divergence just here. Not on the RSI, okay, big deal. Maybe a little bit of class B instead on the RSI, so it could be something. And obviously on the stochastics. Now we're looking at the ADX sloping down on the DMI ADX indicator, giving us that idea that maybe we're starting to see it tapering off. And if we look in even closer at this price action, perhaps on this 4-hour time frame, you could maybe make the case for an inverted head and shoulders looking down the way towards the 1-hour time frame. Maybe that might clarify clarify that for us a little bit. Maybe not quite. You could be just kind of saying, you could look at this any old sort of way, but if you're wanting to say this is a downward sloping resistance line for us, you could look at it on the low term timeframes like that and say, well, if we manage to maintain price action above this and push up, then we're doing it above the cloud as well, and that can bleed up the way. And that's what I'm looking to see happen. Can we then maybe get a move from the back of this? Well, if this was speculatively at the minute something along those lines, I mean, we're a wee bit generous with the neckline on the thing, and pop it up here. You can see it does take us up above that, but that's talking about it as if it needs to happen in the immediacy. At any time that we see this start to price to move up above this zone, then we will be above that cloud. I do think we'll get across fairly soon, and we'll start to see some positivity, some factors coming in here. We see a big volume candle just here, following on from the last big volume candle here. Then, and just a quick tip for everybody, that could be considered stopping volume. That could be considered stopping volume as well in terms of this overall channel towards the downside. And that means that if we break outside of this area, then that could take us up towards where we actually see a change in the overall macro trend. And then, of course, in terms of this time frame, not the macro trend, the micro trend, right? Cool. That like button, were you tempted to hit it at all? Honestly, I genuinely mean it. That's the thing that I would really like you to do. That's all the payment I'm asking for, okay? Some magic beans and some like buttons, please. No, just the like button. Thank you. Been super interactive. Benefited huge from Harmony. Love this though. We'll be joining more in the future. Whoop whoop. Check it out. Look at that. Excellent. Helping people with their technical analysis lives, helping change lives, improve lives, right? And that's why I want everybody to remember that as a part of this Outcroptition community, every single last one of you is taking your own destiny into your own hands. And of course, you're improving your own life and hopefully the life of those around you. Being a part of this community is all about friendship and solidarity, hope, and ethical good values. So welcome, you're in the right place. Phil, Rocky, thanks for the great TA, bud. Gotta run. Cheers. Excellent. Have a good day, man. Hope you're enjoying it up there in North South Africa. Liking that Link BTC chart. Thanks, Rocky. Yeah, man. Liking that. Wait a minute. Did I do seller? Wait. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I had it highlighted on the right in terms of that box there, but of course that was seller that I was looking at just there now. Yeah, cool. 1 hour, 17 minutes into this one. Well, what do you think? I think we could be looking at potentially wrapping up this stream in the next 10 minutes. Oh my goodness gracious me. Does that mean that there's people going to be left disappointed that they didn't get their coin of interest looked at, or indeed some particular facet from technical analysis explained or discussed or just chatted about? I wonder. Be sure to get your comment in fairly quickly. Where's Trey's button? He is in and out of the stream at times, but he is actually with his mum, so it's good, you know. That's good to be doing that, and that's what he is doing. He's with her, and they're watching some documentary together, I think, right now, and having a bite to eat. I think that's what they're doing. I think that's literally what's happening right now. Maybe that's a bit too personal. Should have said he's busy. I don't know. To move up that percent, we mentioned, is there a diamond on the Link BTC? Yeah, you know, I mean, because of course, let's just hide off all the drawings and talk about this right now. By the way, hi friends, if you are just joining us, my name's Rocky Outcrop. Talking with the chit chat here in the live stream. It's not actually on the screen right now. Let me just show you. Oh my god. Yeah, so hi friends, chatting with the chit chat in the live stream, talking about Link versus BTC here, and asking, is there a diamond on the chart, and how would you be able to see if there's a diamond on the chart, etc. And then would that give us that idea of being able to move up that percent that we need to move up? Could that give us the impetus or the launch pad, perhaps? Just before we get into this in any more detail right now, I just want to say this is the zone that we're looking at. This is the 4-hour time frame, and that we are indeed above the cloud. If we push down past this cloud and indeed have a negative cross and take out market structure, do various other things, this triangle that's happening here, we break the lower end of the triangle, then yada yada. then of course, then if you could be looking down the way, do the same thing towards the top side, you could be looking up the way, and that is the right hand side of a diamond type of idea. Now that gives you an interesting dynamic that exists between measured moves. So when somebody says to me, is that a diamond, it's kind of an interesting concept, because what do you want more, right? What do you want more? I'm not structuring this episode. There's a I think, Sean, you can probably tell, Sean, at the minute, by the way, good to see you, buddy. It's always good to see you, my friend, and all that, to everybody out there in the chit chat. There, see, there you go. Trade Spotting's in there chatting. Yeah, Sean's a really nice guy. He asks, is that a diamond? And the diamond thing is cool, but we've got this big stretch between the highs and the lows, and that if we see this operate like a diamond, where we kind of take the measured move from the low just here, then we're getting, and I compare it to a marginally bigger move than what you're getting if you use this as a symmetrical triangle. Okay, so this is what I was kind of getting at. He's asking, is it a diamond? And what you could just say is, why is he asking that? Just remove all of that, zoom on in, right? And say, why is he asking that? Okay, totally valid, fair question. And the reason why is because he's saying to give us that percent we need to move up. And you can see that it's giving you that little bit of an extra move up. And where does it take us to? The higher end of this resistance zone. It's almost like, he's got this exact setup on his same chart. We must be looking at similar things, okay? And would that work better than this? Well, yeah, of course it would work better than kind of that measured move, which takes us to the lower end of it, okay? So could it be a diamond? And well, let's just kind of then analyze this idea. We had highs here, and we had low here, and then a higher high here, and a higher low here, and overall we do have that structure. Just then take this side of things out for now and look and see, how did we arrive at this point? And as you can see, we do have that structure, the impulse up. It's not really flagging properly, in one way. You can make it like that. You can say we had this flag, but you can also look towards this wick down here and these highs and say, well, hey, we're kind of pushing this flag idea a wee bit. And then of course we see the massive whip down and up in consolidation in this phase here. We had the pullback, and what does that do? Increases the overall true range of the price action, meaning that if you want it's like anteing up on poker, where it's like no longer, this has become a higher stakes game, if you will, and then of course it increases the risk to reward, and that's what you need if you're operating with a bigger account, right? Which is obviously a key component of distribution, etc. So does the whole overall thing tie together well enough there to give us that idea as a diamond, as a continuation pattern? It does indeed. And if we just kind of don't be too greedy on it and ignore the wicks overall there and look at the bodies instead, then they've got that structure. So it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect. It's very small time frame stuff, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, can it do it? It can. Would I still expect to see inflection in there? Yeah, I kind of would, to be honest with you. Anyway, so I would be kind of cautious about the potential for anything like that to happen. Oops. And then overall, maybe at the end of it, you look at it and think, hey, what was it? One or the other. We move up the way, we come to resistance, we put in a potential inverse head and shoulders, we come down, we fake out, we move back up the way towards the top side. Would fit in with ultimately then saying, aha, we did the diamond move in the end, so horses for courses, right? Lovely though, good concept. Could we do it? Yes, we could. Right? Excellent. If you are liking what you see here, by the way, hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. And that's it. So I did say to everybody, and by the way, Drew's Tech says in capital letters, thank you, Rocky. You know what, Drew's Tech? Thank you, my friend. You're an excellent guy. Really appreciate it. And I just missed your donation in last week's stream, or Monday's stream, from popping up at the end there. Super appreciated that. But I felt so bad when I hit end stream, and then it went blidding in the background, and of course it wasn't broadcasting anymore within seconds, sort of thing. Well, it's what it felt like. Yeah, cool. What do we see here? Edinburgh Old Town is the center of the Enlightenment, but the area is only one main street. There is great stories about inventions and discoveries in each person's house. Hey, nice one. That's quality. That's cool. That's cool. I love the whole thing about Scottish Enlightenment. People in the Discord might have seen me a few weeks back sharing a picture of Adam Smith, of course, one of my favorite people of all time. He's the guy that invented the word economics. You know, I'm not joking. He's from Edinburgh, just up the road. And of course, he was friends with David Hume, who invented the ideas about utilitarianism, which I actually don't really properly subscribe to, although, of course, I understand it. I understand it, and I can see very many use cases for it. And obviously, I'm not saying that things like triage in a hospital don't make sense, but I am saying that I believe that there are other values out there that you can look at in terms of like the greater good. Quite often, that starts with the person right in front of you. So I don't have a utilitarian viewpoint on this channel, incidentally, which is why I often take time to help one person, maybe more than I should, in terms of, just helping the person in front of me. Because I do kind of genuinely believe if you can help the one person right in front of you at the time, you're doing a good job. And that if you water it down and kind of be the best of all things for all people at all times and be quite utilitarian about things, well, then maybe that's not going to work out so well for on a human level. Right, cool. So I think we've made it to the Sean, you're late. Sean, is there anything you want me to look at before you go? I'm here 1 hour 26 minutes into the stream. At 1 hour and 30 minutes I will be tuning out. I've not tuned out just yet. As you can see, we're live and in Technicolor. But if there's anything you want me to say, take a look at, then give me a shout out. I can scroll back up and choose one of the ones from earlier on, but I feel like they must not be tuned in anymore. If the Anchor, there we go. Actually, Anchor, somebody said earlier on. And I was going to take a look at this because I've spoken about this with, of course, Phil, who was here earlier on, who said he had to tune out. Now, Phil, if you're watching this, then cool. This will be for you. This will help, and that as well. He's not actually tuned in now, but I'll make this into a clip so that everybody can see. Hello friends, Anchor technical analysis right here, right now. There's a very good opportunity for us with this coin. We've got a couple of profit taking targets up above, a couple of risk management zones down below. Quick discussion about the dynamics of the price action over the last wee while to bring some enlightenment to y'all. Hit that like button if that's the sort of thing that you like the sound of. And I tell you what, you've got time to do it here, now. Oh, look, just move the thumb over, move the mouse over, click like, go on, just... Right, okay, on with the show. And by the way, join me for a live stream sometime, okay? We'd really appreciate it. This is the Anchor chart, and we can see that right now the prices are 0.15555555555, and we've moved above a couple of interesting things, like the Ichimoku cloud here on the 1 hour time frame. Is this the tip of the tippity iceberg that brings us towards the top side? Are we seeing the future start to unfold itself, or do we need to kind of relax? Hold your horses, Rocky. As you can see, big resistance up above. Well, we saw the prices dropping down as low as 1355555 something, and it's quite unfortunate because we actually missed out just on this move here by a couple of satoshis. Very frustrating. We put this order in here on the Binance fund account that we have for the channel here, and it didn't quite get caught, but that was the area for it. Would have got taken had I put it in at where I dropped in the move thing in the background. It didn't quite get it. I'm going to leave the order where it is just now in the hopes that we get a retest of this area. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice for you, but you might want to think about things like that yourself, or indeed if you are looking for this to go up the way, remember that there would be profit taken coming in at around about this zone just here and the next one. So like I promised you at the start of the show, what are our risk management targets? What are we looking to move up the way? Well, the ideal entry price would have been down here at 13.5, and that is of course then our risk management point as well if you're getting into it anywhere up here. And then of course if you're looking at getting into around about that zone, the next that 13.5 zone, the next risk management area for you is going to have to be in around about 12. Okay, movements maybe 11.7 or something, but then we're looking up and we can see that the first profit taking zone comes in at around about 16 cents. Okay, so there's still a decent enough move to be had up towards there, because we're looking between 16 and 17, giving you perhaps more than 10% before we really kind of struggle and pop down. And then maybe then thereafter we're looking up towards 20 cents, and that is of course not just a maybe but a quite probabilistic thing when we consider the range overall. As soon as we get past this area, we'll have taken out the cloud, we'll get a positive cross, and we'll be looking up towards that area probably as the next target quite easily, in which case, you know, if we get a retest down here, very good move up the way. If we don't, maybe trade with the momentum, who knows? That's what we're looking to at the minute. This is pretty good overall, where we're seeing a positive cross in the stochastics with them looking up the way, where we're seeing that the DMI of course has got the sloping down ADX. While it's obviously negatively positioned, there's that potential, while the RSI is showing us a head and shoulders, and while the MACD is giving us a touch of bullish divergence between the last two lows, building up a narrative for us to say that we could be looking up there at those higher areas. The other day when we put that order in, the question from Phil came in: why were you thinking about it in terms of maybe not being the best order? Well, at the time I was looking for us to get these movements up the way, which I think we then subsequently did get, yes, and it didn't quite. I was hoping that we would be able to get in there and maintain the support area, but I was saying that the best entry for you is actually down here, and that was a conflict of what we'd be doing. But actually, you see, the thing is, just to answer everybody's question, because we didn't take that trade, I didn't mention the fund account in the last episode and waited to see, because I still thought it was the best trade from a longer term point of view. Instead, we've had this big movement up the way, and we've had another bite at the cherry, if you will, for that entry, and we could be looking on up then even higher. So there is profit taken to be had there, and there's profit taken even on beyond. So I may have to adjust a couple of things in that fund account. The next episode, maybe on Friday for the live show, maybe join me for that and give me your suggestions. If we break it past the 382, things look good for that potential next move up. At the minute, we're in this in-between zone, where I would be looking first off to see, I wouldn't want to get in at this exact price. Maybe 15 would be better, and I'm still thinking that 13.5 would be even better still. But, you know, let's just see how things pan out. If things break down past those numbers, then my thinking changes rapidly. Strong opinions, weekly held. If you hit that like button though, then I'll have a very strong opinion of you, and that will be that you are a star. Ba-ding! I really love it if you hit that button. Thank you so much, by the way, for tuning in. And actually, that takes us to the very end of today's live show. So just popping back over here so the live chat's up for a second, and catching up with everybody in there, and then running through with the reverse roll call, saying to everybody, thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, last Titan, I actually did look at Harmony 1 already. Scroll back in the video, you'll find it. Now, it's not too hard to find. If you look up towards the top left of the screen, you can see the ticker is very large, making it easy for you to see what we were talking about at the time. You will find it in the video. I believe in you, but if you actually struggle with that, at some point in the next 12 hours, I will make that section into a clip and publish it on YouTube. I will not be doing it in the immediate aftermath of publishing this live video, most likely, but I will do it at some point in the next 12 hours. That's just the sort of dedication that I like to bring to you as my audience, and all that. I do commit an awful lot of my incredibly valuable time, actually, to this endeavor, but it's because I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Nice one. Thanks for checking in. By the way, Danny Ray, same thing applies. I'm sorry I got to go, but you could ask again in the next live stream. I also missed out on looking at Sia Coin. I hope it wasn't yourself that requested it the other day, but we're past the point of no return just now. Sorry all the same. Good to have you here, Last Titan. Good to have you here, Danny Ray. Sean Thomas, that's a really good question you asked earlier on. I love the way you asked it for that extra percentage, and it was a nice discussion of the dynamic between a symmetrical triangle and the price action leading into it. Of course, we so often see symmetrical triangles which have got a very flat left-hand side operating like flags, and a lot dynamic there. It was very interesting to talk about that. Last Titan, you're a nice person too, buddy. You're a nice person too. You're all nice, but that's why I'm doing all this. Best community on YouTube. I thoroughly believe it. I really do have a massive respect and love for the audience. I really do, really appreciate everything. I like you. You know, if you all had like buttons, right, I'd be running around hitting the like buttons on all of yous. It's just that, you know, I can't click those like buttons, but you can click my like button, right? Anyway, Bueller Room, thanks so much for joining. Bueller Room? No, I subconsciously mixed your name with Boiler Room and Bueller Brown. Sorry about that, mate. Good for thanks to see you. Good for joining us. Okay, cool. Trade spotting. Thanks for see you. Good for joining us. Sean G. Thanks for see you. Good for joining us. James Kern. Thanks for see you. Good for joining us as well. Okay, good to see you again. Rox, thanks so much, Dad. Nice to see you. Sean, good to see you. Trade spotting, good to see you. Sean Thomas, good to see you. Drew's Tech, great guy. Go to his store, get your technology fixed. Phil, thanks so much for joining in. Great TA again. Thank you so much as well. James Graves, thanks for tuning in. Sean Magner, thank you for tuning in. James Flores, thank you for tuning in. And I'm just going to move over to the end screen. By the way, folks, bring up this final screen thing here. Now I'm going to have to update this counter thing and all the rest of it, but I'll leave that up for now. Thanks for joining us, Sean Magner. Thanks for joining us, Jose Flores. Can you go over Anchor if you have time? I did it. It's in the stream. We've done it. I just did it there now. Did I not? Did I do it just there now? I think did I not finish speaking about it? I'm looking up towards 25. Oh God, I think I finished speaking about it. If we do actually push on past, that's why I was saying that this is the next best. This is the best entry because you get to offload a whole of your position, manage your risk accordingly with the cloud. If we break down past that point thereafter, then you're looking to just sort of shed your potential risk, shed your risk, take your profits. Moving on up the way, then of course you check out you're checking out those tire areas. Phil, thanks for joining us. Salmon Channel, thanks for joining us. Sorry I missed your request earlier on. Edwin, sorry, your name's hard to say. Thanks for joining us. Jordan Jejong, thanks for joining us. Our boss, thanks for joining us. And Jordan, James Graves, we said them. Davide, thanks for joining us as well. Kenneth McCall, thanks for joining us. Good Scottish name, that one. Quality, nice to have you, Kenny, mate. Kevin Yang, thanks for joining us as well. Sky20 Riff, thanks, bro. He asked earlier on, BTC dumper pump, BTC dumper pump. All I can do is give you risk levels, mate. It's the markets will obviously work themselves out. O World tuned in here earlier on and told us that Safe Galaxy is apparently not a meme token and ecosystem. Well, only time will tell, right? Right. Demon, thanks for checking in here with us. You said, can you check NEM? Sorry, buddy, I missed that as well earlier on. I suppose I could bring up in the sort of 5 seconds what we're XEM on that one for NEM USDT as I run through the reverse roll call and just kind of see if I can dual task on this one for us. So once again as well, thanks for tuning in, Roy Gordon, Roy of the Gordons. Thank you. That's another Scottish name. I wonder if you're part of Clan Gordon. I hope you tune in again sometime. Thanks so much for tuning in, Cheeky Gamer TV. Thanks so much for tuning in as well, Dude Man and Peter Hewer. Thank you again, great guy. And thanks for tuning in, Daniel Peak. Thanks for tuning in, Tony. Thanks for tuning in, Shiraz. Thanks for tuning in, Joe Lee. Bloody Nine, I hope you had a good evening as well. Thanks for tuning in. God, this is a really long reverse roll call, right? Thanks for tuning in, Scott, Sunjo Kojak, good to see you. And I think that is going to have to more or less wrap us up. Market Wizard, I hope I didn't miss anybody else out there along the way. Tonevu, etc., and all your good friends. So just in the last 5 seconds, if you are still tuned in, we have, of course, got the Anchor technical analysis for us, and I'll just pop over to the main screen, in fact, so you can see my face here at the end of the show and say, look at this. If we actually push past this price point of 38 cents and 38.3828 and then close a decent 4-hour candle above and open and get green continuation price action movement, I'm looking up not just as far as 41, which of course could present as a profit taken target as represented by our previous inflection just here and the 382 in the Ichimoku cloud at that point too, but I'll be looking up towards 43 from 37 to 43 in terms of let's not be too greedy. We're looking at a nice plus 10% move, maybe 12, depending on how much of that move you actually want to take. But the party doesn't necessarily stop there. We could see a retracement, we could see retests, etc. I'll be looking to examine the support and resistance at that time, but then we could be looking up towards this price target in at 45. If that happens, I know it doesn't satisfy people who were looking up here at the highs when it did its extra token drop thing there, when it released that whole, the airdrop thing, and then we saw the massive tank in the markets. But I'm looking to see certain things. I'll keep an eye out as well if I do trade this on the futures markets to see if they lead the way a little bit in terms of their price action. Something to take a look at with regards to this particular pairing, as it has an interesting dynamic in the past at times. Whether that continues was yet to be seen. The bullish divergence we got at these lows is more distinct than many other cryptos, in fact, and we're seeing that we've just had a positive cross. Can we get some continuation and full follow through on that statistics and take us towards the top side? The previous high in this downward movement didn't come in with any hidden bullish or hidden bearish divergence, and if instead we're just looking at clean visible bullish divergence with a nice profit or the nice target, to break past at 38.28 or 38.30 or so to go in for those moves. If we do then take that out, where am I looking to? And actually, what I'm going to tell you is that there's a really good positive story for us, because taking out the 236 in that 45 area where I was talking about where that 618 is leads into the potential to move up into this Fibonacci, and that is actually looking up towards 65. I've got another move here for us as well in terms of how I would be playing this at that stage, and it looks a little like that. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Every single last one of you. Just so you know, I've got a Harmony One section in this live stream. Go back and check it out. Hit the like button. Really do appreciate it. I'm saying that to Malon McIntyre there.